You again? What, do you not have any hobbies? Whatever, it's not like I care about what you do in your free time anyway. What's so funny? These comments. People really seem to be enjoying these videos. I already told you I'm not responding to comments, yeah, but check it out. These are actually pretty funny, and everyone is so nice. Oh, like this one. Oh, you think I'm cute? Gee, thanks. Did that thing just call me a cat? There's also some speculation that you're a Pomeranian? I'm a what? Calm down, Ka-chan. Some people are wearing headphones. We can't have a repeat of yesterday. Look, lots of people have nice things to say about you too, like, oh. Well, people also said you gave them really good life advice. Best mom? Mom? Move over, let me see. Hold on, Ka-chan. If you fought your clone, who would win? You were the clone. Wait. Aizawa-sensei? Well, at least he's got the right answer. I'm honestly not sure if that was a compliment or an insult. It was an insult. Well, that's enough comments for now. I'm sure you're eager to get to the fanfic. Hope you enjoy! You and Katsuki spend a lot of time in your workshop reconciling. You adapt to him quickly, and he accepts you unconditionally. It's like he was always meant to be there, and you eventually suppose that it's because you're soulmates. Katsuki is patient when it seems like you've lost your voice, and he lets you change topics as you please whenever you're beginning to feel uncomfortable. You know that Katsuki's sharp, and you presume that he's figured out that you find it distressing to discuss certain aspects about yourself. You're grateful for the subtle measures he's taken to make sure you feel relaxed around him, but you'll never thank him out loud, knowing he'd just deny it like the stubborn boy he is. It's hard to forget the many stolen glances and brushed fingers and the barely there space between your bodies when you sit next to each other that never fails to make your heart race. It's also much more challenging to keep your mind from wondering about the things that make up who he is. Now that you have the answers to all those burning questions from the time you were apart, you have a million more questions that need answers. It's one of those very burning questions that bring you to your current situation held in the cozy confines of your workshop. Take me with you then, he deadpans. Huh? Take me on one of those hiking trips then. I want to know what you like about him so much, you say with a childish gleam about you. If I take you with me during this time of year, you'd probably end up killing yourself for some dumb shit like that. Just as quick as it came, your frivolous glow vanishes. Oi. Quit fucking pouting, you brat, he chastises at the sight of your indignant expression. I'll take you when it starts to warm up. I promise. A smile finds its way onto your face at the future prospect. Since it's a Friday evening, the two of you take advantage and hang out for a few more hours than usual. Once the outside world begins to darken, however, he insists on you both getting back to your dorms. The walk back to your respective places was filled with a tranquil quiet. The only sound to be heard was the noisy crush of snow beneath your shoes and the heavy huffs of hot air escaping your mouth. Katsuki walked with his shoulder touching yours, and you welcomed the extra warmth. He leaves you at the door with a teasing ruffle of your hair, and you bid him goodnight. Unlike most other instances, you don't fall asleep immediately that night. Your thoughts seem to keep you awake, and, of course, they're about your soulmate. You think about how many of the little things you've noticed from the amount of time that you and Katsuki spend attached to the hip. You think of his hair and the unexpected softness to it, despite the unkempt look of it. You think of his eyes and the subtle hint of orange in them, a color which you purposefully added to his suit so that the two now match. You think of the pliable skin of his hands and the way they leave static against your own when they brush against each other. As if on cue, your phone vibrates with a message from the very same boy who is currently darting from corner to corner of your mind. Are you awake? You respond quickly. Yeah, what's up? Meet me at the front gates at 1800 tomorrow. Wear gloves. Your heart starts to race a little bit, like it always does when Katsuki's involved. Part of you wants to question what he has planned, but the other part of you wants to leave it a surprise. You struggle back and forth for a bit before ultimately coming to a decision. Okay, I'll be there. It takes a few minutes before your phone goes off again. Why the fuck are you still awake, moron? Go to bed, you chortle as you text him goodnight as well. With the excitement of what was to come tomorrow evening, You find yourself almost counting the minutes until the next day. Your classmates don't pay you too much mind as you spend the majority of the day scuttling around the dormitory. Once morning came, it finally dawned upon you that this would be the first time that Katsuki would see you outside of school, as well as in casual clothes. To add to your stress, you also had no idea about where you were going, and when you had asked him out of desperation, he'd stubbornly refused to tell you in typical Katsuki fashion. Fortunately, however, as the clock began to tick closer to your arranged meeting time, everything started to fall into place for you. Your hair seemed to finally stop battling against you, resting just as you wanted it atop your head. As if a divine light had pointed them out to you, several articles of clothing among the heaps scattered across the room seemed to catch your eye, and you were able to come up with the perfect outfit. You'd also been able to borrow a lovely pair of matching gloves from the girl in the dorm adjacent to yours. You ignored the knowing look she gave you with surprising ease. With only a few minutes to spare, you scampered out the front door, waving goodbye to a few peers that you passed on the way there. The walk to the front gates was quiet, and you'd almost slipped twice in your hasty excitement. The sun was already well on its way to falling below the skyline, and you wondered where it was that you'd be going so late at night. You quickly turned on your heels as soon as you hear the familiar crunch of snow from behind you. Katsuki was dressed in a dark red cable-knit sweater, and over the top of it was a gray winter coat and dark gray jeans to match. It would seem that despite the usual ragged appearance of his school uniform, Bakugo Katsuki did, in fact, know how to dress up nicely.
Hey, quit staring already and let's go,
he huffed out once he was a few feet away from you. Oh, don't think I didn't see you doing the same thing, Katsuki-kun. You bumped his shoulders with yours teasingly. When he didn't try to deny it, you quickly found your teasing remarks backfiring against you, and you felt your face begin to heat up. The two of you fall into step with ease as you both walk toward the train station, and the conversation flows smoothly, as it always does between the two of you. At some point during the journey, you noticed that your hand had found itself intertwined with his own. You only wished you'd been able to remove the cloth, preventing you from feeling the warmth of his skin directly against your own. Upon exiting the train station, you were able to take a look at the scene around you. You never really got out much, having found no reason to do so throughout your life, so it took you by great surprise at buzzing city life around you, despite the sun having disappeared quite some time ago. The streets were just as packed as they were during the day, and the fluorescent neon signs across every building made everything look several times busier. Katsuki didn't miss the flustered expression on your face, and gripped your hand tighter as he tugged you along towards your destination. Feeling your feet come to a stop, you snapped out of your stupor and gazed at the sight that lay ahead of you. Before you stood a park that was just as busy as the roads behind you. There were lights strung up around several trees that surrounded a large rink. People were gliding around on the top of the icy surface. You tugged excitedly at the hand currently laced in your own. Katsuki, I didn't know you liked to go ice skating! Without glancing at you, he pulled you off in the direction of a booth where a middle-aged woman was renting out skates. I don't, but you wouldn't shut up about me taking you hiking, so I figured this might be better considering you have the endurance of a fucking child. What'd you just say about— Katsuki ignored you entirely as he began ordering a pair of skates for you both. He turned back to you. Hurry up and tell her your shoe size, you brat, he huffed as you gave the lady your information, not sparing a glare at Katsuki as you passed him to sit on a nearby bench. Once your skates were laced up, you quickly pouted at your current predicament. Katsuki, you began in a low, childish tone. He turned to look at you from where he stood, waiting for you. I need you to help me walk. He moved to rest his hands against the barrier behind him, and you watched as his shoulders began to shake. Hey! Quit laughing at me! I'm helpless here! He began to snort as he snickered noisily, and eventually you started to laugh with him. When Katsuki turned to face you once again, his cheeks were pink, looking thoroughly amused. After pulling you up onto your feet, he got behind you so that your back was touching his chest. He held your arms in his own, taking most of your weight off your feet. With Katsuki's help, you were able to waddle your way over to the rink. He was still profoundly amused as he watched you awkwardly glide across the ice, holding his hands in a vice grip. Eventually, when you proceeded to start getting the hang of it after some time, you were able to stand up much straighter and bring your legs together. You looked at Katsuki with eager eyes. Let's go faster, yeah? When you fall flat on your ass, I'll be too busy laughing to help you up. He was already chuckling lightly, imagining the scene in his head. Oh, whatever. You let his jab fly right over your head, too caught up in your quest to start gaining speed. Without fail, you did end up falling flat on your ass. However, you managed to take him down with you. Resting your head against the ice at your back, you began to laugh hard at your fumble. Above you, Katsuki was resting on his elbows on either side of your head, also laughing his heart out, and you realize that this is the first time you've ever heard it. Not the usual airy snickers, but a deep belly laugh. You felt yourself swell with joy. Once the two of you regained your breath, Katsuki got up first, then proceeded to help you to your feet.
Take it easy this time.
The two of you continued to languidly do laps around the rink for a little while more. When the light snowfall around you began to increase in intensity, you both called it a night. After giving your skates back to the woman who had given them to you, she was smiling merrily while she told you that you and Katsuki reminded her of her daughter and her newlywed husband, which didn't fail to send you both into a fervent blush. Katsuki began to walk back in the direction of the train station. He stopped when he felt you start to tug on his arm, and you pointed at a cafe that had caught your eye. Thank you for bringing me here today, Katsuki. After receiving the drinks you ordered, you both shed your coats and sat next to each other on a couch in the corner of the dimly lit room. He only nodded, and in the corner of your eye, you could see the corners of his lips tugging into a small, bashful smile. Even after cups of hot chocolate had long since finished, you and Katsuki sat together in the cafe, a cozy silence encompassing you two. It was only when you noticed the streets outside began to empty that you suggested that you both start hurrying home. After the day's excitement began to come to a close on the train ride back to UA, you felt yourself slowly losing your focus. In your exhaustion, you didn't think twice about letting your head rest against Katsuki's shoulder. The rest of the walk back to your dorms is already hazy, and you're sure you won't remember it the next morning. He walks you right up to your door, and you hesitate before heading inside. He looks at you, confused. What is it? I had a lot of fun tonight. He reaches up to pat your head. Me too. He reaches over to the doorknob and opens it up for you. Now go inside before you drop dead out here. You chuckle softly. Good night, Katsuki. Good night.
Hi, Bakugo. Are you sure you're not talking to my dumbass clone? Why should I listen to anything from a paper bag? You really think you could stand a chance against me? You're a gopher! A gopher! Get out of my comments, dumb hair.
Kanesann, are you responding to comments?
No!